have a goal. My goal is to help you reach your goal. Now, what do we know about the human body? We know that it has one of the most powerful tools on the planet, the human brain. And unlocking its secrets and full potential is what's going to help you and anybody with a dream just like you reach those goals and achieve whatever they want in life. And to make full use of this tool, you need to understand that there are ways to utilize this tool correctly. And what does that mean? Well, it means hammering a nail is more efficiently done with a hammer than with a screwdriver. What that means in context of your brain is you need to learn the way to apply this powerful tool that you have in the correct way to achieve what you're after. Now, before we can learn about some of the most powerful and useful tools that your brain has, we need to do a little bit of science. We need to understand just how this tool works. And this may seem a little bit boring at first, but trust me, understanding how your brain works is going to be part of the key to helping you reach those goals and unlocking the full potential that you hold. Now, a quick note. Some people might feel a little bit intimidated or worried about the fact that I've decided to include science because of their previous experiences with scientific explanations that didn't make sense. And your worry is correct, but it does not apply here. The reason for this is that you need to understand that, first of all, I'm here to benefit you. So, I'm going to explain this in a way that can be easily understood. The second part is to understand that throughout this process, and you'll hear me repeat this often, knowledge is power. In order to unlock the most powerful tool possibly in the universe, you need to have the knowledge for this. Now, let's begin. Instead of giving you many complex scientific terms, which in the end boil down to a few little concepts, I'm going to give you the brain in a nutshell. So, the human brain is known as the central nervous system. It can be considered the motherboard of your computer, and it gives out signals to the body, telling it exactly what to do, when to do, and how to do. So, the brain cells is made up of millions and millions of small, tiny, firing cells, and I'll explain what firing means in a second. These cells are called neurons, and their structure is kind of elongated, as you can see in this image. These cells react to and induce stimuli from your environment. Small example, you hear your friend talking, your brain interprets this as sound waves through your ears, and it tells you in your head that your friend is talking to you. So, although there are thousands and thousands of different types of neurons, they all have the same basic structure. At one end of the neuron, you have the dendrites, or the branches, which receive inputs from other cells and send them along to the cell body of the neuron, where integration of all the inputs takes place together. The output of the neuron, in the form of a specific pattern of very light electrical impulses, barely detectable, is sent along the axon and transmitted to up to 1 million other neurons. Neurons are specialized to generate and transmit electrical signals to one another. The membranes of all types of cell are said to be polarized. What does this mean? Well, it means that there is an unequal distribution of the electrical charge in the form of charged atoms on either side of the membrane, with positive ones concentrated on the outside and negative ones on the inside. Now, that we understand the way the brain transmits signals, we need to understand what a memory is. Your neurons are firing electricity all the time. The way that a memory is formed, the way that you remember your own name or remember where you live, is formed when a single pattern is repeated. Each pattern is a message. If this pattern is repeated over and over and over, it's almost as if it carves a better path along which to move, a path more accessible to you consciously. And that's how a strong, long-term memory is formed. Now, let's understand a little bit more about the brain structure. Your brain is made up of a group of different parts, primarily two hemispheres, one to the right and one to the left. And these hemispheres are made up of smaller sections called cortexes of the brain. And each of these sections is responsible for a certain function. The very center of your brain, deep inside your skull, is called the brainstem. The brainstem is responsible for the most important of functions: beating your heart, ensuring that your temperature remains correct, and focusing on ensuring that you can sustain life. Other cortexes might be responsible for more voluntary actions, such as the movement of a body part, the blinking of the eyes, or the speaking, as I'm doing right now. You need to understand that the brain's cortexes don't work separately, but rather work as a team to produce the required effect. Now, the way your brain works is again, very similar to the way a computer works. And you're going to hear me make many references between the human brain and the way a computer works, not because they're equal in their power. No, your brain is much stronger than a computer, but rather because of the way that they function. Your brain, just like a computer system, takes inputs from its senses. In a computer, we consider these inputs the mouse, the keyboard, and in some cases, the camera. These are all sent along, and if we refer back to our body, these can be considered your senses, such as your vision, your hearing, your taste. These are all sent along the wires, or in the case of a human, your nervous system, to your brain, where the brain processes them and makes sense of them. Now, you might be asking why humans are more intelligent and able to do much more complex tasks than other creatures and mammals with similar brain structures. And this comes down to something that scientists have discovered as the relative brain size. What this means is a comparison of the size of your brain relative to the size of your body. With humans, they are the largest ratio of brain size to body size. This doesn't mean that our brains are exceptionally large on their own if you compared them to, say, that of a blue whale or an elephant, but rather the size of our body and the size of our brain as a percentage of the size of our body is what has given us these abilities. Now, we've explained a little bit about how the brain works, but if you want to learn some of the most prominent examples of how people have been able to use their brain to do amazing things, or how you can do some of these things yourself, then you better watch on and follow the rest of these series, or visit powersofbrain.webs.com. You can find the links for all of this in the description. Thank you for watching.